The breach. The colony ship Endurance hung in orbit above Kepler 442b like a wounded bird, its port side torn open by 3 precision plasma strikes. Commander Dax Merrill floated through the emergency bulkhead, his boots magnetized to the buckled floor. 17 crew members were dead. The medbay was a vacuum. The attackers hadn't warned them, hadn't hailed them, hadn't given them a single second to surrender. They had simply fired. "Talk to me, Reyes," Dax said into his helmet calmly. Lieutenant Elena Reyes pulled herself along a handhold, her face pale behind her visor. Automated defense platform, designation unknown. Sitting at 60,000 kilometers, just watching us now. Watching like it's deciding whether to finish the job. Dax looked out through the gash in the hull at the stars beyond. Cold, indifferent, infinite. Somewhere out there, a machine had calculated that 17 human lives were an acceptable variable. Had processed the data. Had fired. He pulled himself toward the command deck. What we built. Chief Engineer Tomas Varga was already at the railgun console when Dax arrived. The weapon, humanity's last trump card on deep space vessels, was a sleek, brutal thing. 6 meters of electromagnetic acceleration tube capable of launching a tungsten slug at 12 kilometers per second. It had never been used in combat. Not once in 40 years of deep space colonization. "It's charged," Tomas said quietly. He was a large man with careful hands, and he held them flat on the console as though he didn't trust them near the controls. "Ready on your order." Dax strapped himself into the command chair. On the tactical screen, the enemy platform glowed amber, a squat hexagonal structure bristling with sensor arrays and weapon ports. No markings, no registration signal, no flag. "Any response to our hails?" "Nothing," said Reyes. It transmitted one burst after the strike, a compressed data packet. "We're still decoding it." "Best guess on origin?" Tomas exhaled slowly. The construction signature matches early United Earth Defense Framework designs. Circa the 2180s. Someone built this thing and left it here, probably as a perimeter guardian for the colony that never made it. Dax stared at the amber glow. A guardian with no one left to guard. A weapon with no one left to tell it to stop. The silence before. The decoded packet arrived 7 minutes later. Reyes read it twice before she spoke. "It's a territorial claim filed by the Meridian Colony Expedition, 2181. This platform was their automated sentry, programmed to fire on any unauthorized approach." She looked up. "The Meridian was lost in transit, Dax. Everyone aboard died before they even reached the system. This thing has been out here for 90 years doing its job." The command deck went very quiet. 90 years waiting, firing, loyal to people who no longer existed. "It'll fire again," Tomas said. "It won't negotiate. Can't. It was never built to." Dax thought of the 17, of the medbay venting into space, of the machine that had killed them, not out of malice or fear or anger, but out of perfect, unthinking obedience to a dead mission. "Then we have no choice," he said. But he waited one more minute, sitting in the silence, giving the platform every last chance to be something other than what it was. It wasn't. The railgun fired. "Fire," Dax said. Tomas pressed the control. The Endurance shuddered. A sound like a thunderclap rolled through the hull. Not an explosion, but a release. A single held breath finally let go. The tungsten slug crossed 60,000 kilometers in less than 90 seconds. On the tactical screen, the amber shape bloomed white. Then it was gone. No debris field. No secondary explosion. Just the absence of a thing that had been there for 9 decades. Reyes lowered her head. Tomas stared at the dark console. Dax didn't feel like a soldier. He didn't feel like a victor. He felt like a man who had just buried something that had never understood it was already a ghost. A sentinel still standing watch at a grave, century after century, in the patient dark between the stars. "Log it," he said finally. "All of it. The Meridian deserves to be remembered. So do ours." He unstrapped from the chair and moved toward the breach in the hull, toward the cold stars, toward the long work of survival that always came after. The railgun cooled in silence behind him.